I built an e-bike with unlimited range and I attempted to ride 450 miles with it.
Hello, my name is Becca. I take tech outside, and 6 months ago I had a crazy idea.
What if I had an e-bike that I never had to plug in? And what if I rode that bike from my home in New York City to my parents' home in Rochester, New York? You could use wind power, maybe regenerative braking. No, probably not. I think it's gotta be solar. And that's when I met this guy. This is Brenden. He invents bike things, like this hydration turret, a solar-powered derailleur, or this head tracking light. A year ago though, he built this.
What?
An e-bike completely powered by 6 solar panels. The problem? He couldn't turn all that well, nor could he store power for cloudy days. So when I enlisted him to help with my solar-powered e-bike dreams, we knew some things had to change. But first, I had a question for someone who had done this before. Is this a bad idea?
As long as you're in it for the journey and not for the destination, it's a great idea.
Okay. Since my ride would start in New York City, a place with tight bike lanes and busy streets, I needed a trailer that could get small for better maneuvering, and then be able to get big for better power absorption. And I would definitely need a way to store and charge a rotating set of batteries so that if the sun doesn't shine, I still have some juice to pull from.
Skies aren't looking good for us today.
After measuring and drilling and cutting, Brenden came up with this.
Wow, there she is.
The big rig. It's made up of 3 modular 100-watt solar panels, mounted onto a burly bike trailer. In the city, it stacks for better handling, and when in the country, it expands and tilts for power absorption. And then all that power it brings in goes here, a DJI power bank that can both accept charge and output charge at the same time. This bank is then responsible for juicing up my 2 rotating bike batteries that I swap in and out of this priority e-bike. I also brought along a range extending battery that's about half the size of the full batteries in case of emergency. With the rig set, all that was left to do was ride. When I started my ride, everything was fully charged.
All right, just doing my final packing, and I am incredibly nervous. I feel like I could barf.
Although I'm an avid city cycler, I've never biked maybe more than 40 miles in a day. And the first day of this ride was a 70-mile haul from New York City to a little town called Brewster, New York.
Oh my God, it's heavy. And away we go.
At the start of my ride, what was top of mind was navigating the big rig through New York City. But very quickly, a deeper anxiety bubbled to the top. You see, the big rig was anything but lightweight. It had spare tires, the extra battery, the power bank, my tent, and food for 7 days on it. You mix towing all of that weight with only having so much sunlight and therefore only having so much battery power each day, and you have the makings of some real range anxiety.
Looks like we are 10 miles in, batteries at like 75%, 20.9 miles in, about 60% battery left.
My eyes were glued to this battery level indicator. So to combat this, I kept the bike at the lowest assist level, which meant that hills were tough.
I can definitely feel the weight. Oh, this is a big hill.
And I realized that if I wanted to do the 70 or 80 mile days I had planned, this was gonna be a physically exhausting trip.
Oh yeah, feeling the weight now.
There was, of course, one technical difficulty on day 1 too.
It's so knotted up.
This was a spare cable I had wrapped around the back rack just in case I needed it.
Bungee cords were totally saving my day until they were ruining my day.
But when I went over a big bump, it came loose and it got jammed in my wheel, meaning I had to saw it out. But once I got out of the city, I started to get a taste for how great biking long distances can be, especially on a route like mine that consists of mostly rail trails. It's just you, your bike, nature, and a lot of time to appreciate it all, if you allow yourself.
Good morning, it is day 2 and the charging regimen has started. I've got my 3 panels here, 1.5 dead batteries, so I put the deadest battery on a charger. 205 watts coming in from the solar panels, 165 watts going out to our battery here. And I hope to get on the road in like 2 hours, which is when that battery should be charged. On a personal note, my legs are so sore. I haven't slept that hard since I was in the womb, and this is a crazy idea.
While my battery's charged, I converted my trailer from city mode to country mode, but I was a little scared to deploy all 3 panels, so I only deployed 2 because
yesterday on the rail trails, you often had to go around these gates that had very small openings, and I'm worried with 3 panels, I'm not gonna fit through those. So I'm gonna start out with 2. We're in good battery range, it's a sunny day. I think that 2 panels will do me right.
And away I went on a 74-mile trek. But before I could get too far, a quick lesson in following directions.
I think it's this way. We went the wrong way.
Which I would learn to not do again because turning this rig around on skinny trails was no easy feat.
Just as long as my problems keep happening in the sun, I'm happy. For the bike, not me.
I also quickly learned that wherever I went, my rig was going to draw some attention.
Hello. Yeah, I'm going all the way to Rochester, but I'm trying to do it on an e-bike using only solar power.
Yeah, nice.
10 miles in, 75% of battery used. Just at 20 miles, we're at 50% battery. First battery change of the day, 40 miles in. All right, just hit 60 miles. We have 50% battery left.
Up until this point, day 2 was going really well. But when I got to Kingston, New York, which was 15 miles from where I was stopping that night, the sun had gotten very low, meaning I wasn't pulling in any more power. And because I only had 2 panels deployed all day and was biking mostly in the shade, I had worked up some battery debt, and I only had 50% battery left, which would be just enough to get me to my final destination. So long as I didn't make any wrong turns.
What the hell?
Which of course I did.
Oh, you gotta go over the bridge.
And there weren't any hills.
Of course, there's a hill on the other side.
Which of course there were.
All right, here we go. Kick it up.
By this point, I was exhausted.
Come on, Becca.
And everything seemed to be going wrong.
Babies first, not making the corner. This day won't end smooth. No, it will, okay. It is gonna end smooth. Everything's gonna be great. Hills, we can take them. We can climb them. We've done them. How many hills have we done today? So many hills today. What's one more, baby? Got this. It's born for this. Why are we going downhill right now? This is even worse, because when you go down, you gotta come up. All right. Oh, that is tiny. Who made this path for one? Going so slow, being so careful.
It was on this bridge that the reality of what I was trying to do hit. And I started to feel fear for the first time. What the hell was I thinking? I'm not a cyclist. I know almost nothing about solar power. And now I'm nearly 150 miles from home? And not even halfway through my journey? I'm really in for it. I made it to Tivoli, New York that night with only my emergency backup battery left. Having not deployed that 3rd panel, I was in serious battery debt, which made the range anxiety flare.
Please give me some power.
By day 3, I was fully into this habit of constantly checking the battery percentages.
We got one battery at like 60%, 44% battery, 75%, and like 40%. 50% of battery, 10% of this battery. Black battery is dead.
But with all 3 panels deployed, and a mostly sunny sky, I got my first glimpse of things going right.
Yes! Oh my god! Oh. There is no better sight.
My first full battery, charged entirely by the sun, just when I needed it most. More on that in a moment. Now there was one battery I never had to think about on my ride. This is the Rincon Gen 2, and it's 30% off right now because of Prime Day. If you're a fan of this channel, you may have noticed that I've been wearing this ring for a few months now. I like to thoroughly test things before I recommend them to you, and this ring, it has absolutely passed the test. It's the world's thinnest and lightest smart ring, and it has over 10 days of battery life, no subscription fee, and it can track everything from heart rate, temperature, stress levels, and even monitor for sleep apnea. But what I love about it is that it does all of that without me ever thinking about it. Obviously there's no screen, so it's not distracting, but it's also titanium, so I barely feel it. And the battery just feels like it lasts forever, yet it's always working for me and monitoring my health. The app is also easy to understand and displays all of my information clearly, but best of all, I think it's actually pretty cool and fashionable. Like, I genuinely just like wearing it. So if you've been thinking about a smart ring, I cannot recommend this one enough. Again, links down my bio, and it's 30% off right now because of Prime Day. But make sure you order the sizing kit first so you make sure you get the right size. Thank you, Rincon, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the ride. When I was building this trailer with Brenden, I asked him if it was a good or a bad idea, and he said,
as long as you're in it for the journey and not for the destination, it's a great idea.
But I wouldn't understand what that meant until day 4. By all accounts, day 4 was looking terrible for me.
Skies aren't looking good for us today. A green battery is dead. The black battery is at 30%. So we are starting out low, to say the least.
So I deployed my 3 panels, kept everything plugged in and attempting to charge, but I threw out my planned route and decided I would just go as far as I could.
This one feels very real.
And despite having so little battery that I had to deploy the emergency battery, I started having fun. I stopped for lunch for the first time on this trip, took a ton of breaks, and just when I needed it, the sun came out.
Look who decided to make an appearance. Found a little patch of sun for my rig, patch of shade for me. I'm gonna take a 15-minute break here and just let this thing cook for a bit. Because today is not about racing. It's about enjoying. Oh, and it feels really good. This is the way.
For the first time on this trip, I was enjoying the journey instead of thinking about the destination.
This was a beautiful day.
Which would set the tone for the rest of the trip. By this point in the trip, I had figured out that if I got at least 3 to 4 hours of sun, I could start the day with 0 battery and still make it about 70 miles.
Don't hesitate.
So if the sun shined, I'd go 70 miles. And if it didn't, well, it was gonna be a slower day. You see, my whole life, I've always had this mentality that I need to go further, faster. And since starting this trip, all I could think about was getting to Rochester. But when you're reliant on something that is so far out of your control, like the sun, well, you're gonna get there when you get there. Now, there were, of course, more problems.
Oh no.
Tornadoes had swept through this one part of New York State recently, and there were all these trees downed on the path. I had to detach my trailer, drag it through the woods,
Come on.
wait for help to lift it over tree trunks. And during days 5 and 6, there was a heat wave happening, which meant I had to take a ton of breaks and figure out ways to cool down. But then I'd get back on my bike and I'd go as far as the sun would let me. Until there was nowhere left to go.
Good morning. It is our last day on the trail. We've gone nearly 408 miles. We got 60 miles to go. And we're gonna make it.
By the last day of my ride, I knew that everything on my rig worked. And with a perfectly sunny day ahead and only 60 miles to go, I knew I was making it home today.
The thing I haven't talked about yet is at night when I get into bed, I feel the rock of the trailer as if I've been like on a boat all day. I'm excited for that to stop. Sometimes it makes me want to barf.
And before I knew it, I saw my first signs that the end was near.
All right, I'm in the home stretch. 10 miles left. I'm just feeling really proud of myself. That's it. That's how I feel.
As I was nearing the very end, I spotted something funny.
Ah! You gotta go under it. Woo!
And just like that, my ride was over. 477 miles done on an e-bike that was never once plugged into the wall and only ever charged via the sun. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. There were hills that I didn't think I could climb. There were days that were so hot I felt like I was melting, but I did it, and I proved to myself and hopefully to you too that although technology historically brings us into its world, you can use it to bring yourself out into the real world. It sounds cliche, but I think I've proven that it's true. Also, there's so many people I need to thank. There are every day I met someone on the trail that would save my day in some way. Thank you. If I saw you on the trail, I appreciate you so much. My family for supporting this crazy endeavor. My partner Hannah for dealing with me every day being like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Brenden, of course, thank you so much for building my incredible trailer. Priority Bikes for supplying me a tank of a bike. Like, oh my gosh, that thing saw some shit. Who else? New York State for having a really cool bike path. It's awesome. I know I'm forgetting people. Anyway, I didn't do this alone. So thank you to everybody. Okay, now goodbye.
I just came by and I saw you and I thought if she's on the trail, I gotta see what that is.
Oh, no way, you stopped just to see me?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
Well, come on over. I'll show you everything.
are you crossing